Hello everybody, this time comes the real thing, how to survive the possible recession in this year, in the year 2020. We don't know whether a recession is coming, but anyhow, among a lot of countries, economic figures such as GDP is falling in a lot of countries for the first quarter in spring. If we have a coming falling GDP figure in summer, that is in the next quarter, then there is a recession. But anyhow, we are not sure. Somebody in the IMF predicted that we may have an economic recession worse than the Great Depression of 1920s, namely from the year 1929 to 1933. But anyhow, we are not sure. What is painful, what is quite unable for us to foresee in this year is that there is a lot of uncertainties, a lot of things that we don't know, a lot of things that the government have done, but we don't know what the outcome is. The pandemic is about to end, or the serious part of the pandemic is about to be over, with the invention of the so-called vaccines or with the flattening of the curve of the diagnosed cases. More or less, the coming coronavirus threat is about to be tolerable. But what is unsure is that the economy, what happens to the economy. The economy, or the things that is different this year than the former years, in the 1920s or in the year 2008, is that this time the state take a very active measure to lock down cities, to freeze the harbors and airports, and to stop generally global flow of goods, of people, and as well as services as well, in the name of keeping the country safe, safe from the supply of medical goods, the supply of cereals, etc. So this kind of very drastic measures taken by the state, we call it the executive power of the state, is something different from the past. We know that after the year of 1920s, well, the Federal Reserve of USA have the power to issue more US dollars, bonds, etc. Sometimes we call it, after the year 2000, the quantitative easing. This is what the government can do to adjust the economy during a period of recession. But this time is something different. The government wants a recession. The government secures a recession so that something uncertain can be avoided in future. For this, a lot of people are really in doubt. What is really happening? We see a lot of things flowing around. Well, pandemic is one of the case, uncertain, we don't know. But anyhow, the serious part is about to end. We have people who brag about digital money because, well, paper money is dirty, a lot of dirt, a lot of viruses and bacteria, etc. We know that already. If you think it's dirty, please give them to me. Well, that is the way to keep you away from dirt. Well, money is dirty, whether you are religious or you take it in medical terms, right? The second thing is about locking up people, social distancing, keeping people in cells, homebound, etc., so that they can be more connected, as well as more traceable by the government or by other serious forces about what kind of goods they're buying, what kind of people they're meeting, what kind of things they're doing every day. We call it big data. All these things in comparison to the uncertain economic future, is something quite minor. You can take them in the same case. You can classify them in the same case as the pandemic. The social distancing, locking up cities, as well as the bragging about digital money, digital transaction, all these things will go away. They are simply things, just like a surgical mask for everybody, to cover up your face so that you don't know what the reality is. The reality is something quite sure now. It is economic downturn. Well, last year summer, a lot of economists already predicted that there will be an economic downturn this year because they observe the inverted yield curve of the long-term debt and the short-term debt. When people invest more money in their long-term debt, then it means that in the short term, say 1 month, 3 months, half a year, it is not really profitable to buy bonds, to buy federal bonds. Well, if you buy bonds or buy something in 5 years or in 10 years, that is more secure. So that means uncertain in the economic prosperity in the short term. So it is predicted that there will be a recession in the coming year, that is in this year, but we are not sure. What the government is doing now, I mean, a lot of governments, UK, USA, Canada, Germany, France, all these governments, what they are doing now is that they impose by executive power an economic recession so that something can be controlled. It's something like, if you put it in a simile or take an example, well, if you know that, say, the dry season is coming and there will be a very grand bushfire in the forest, then what you can do, either you put in more water reserve, but whether it's dry, wet. The other way to do it is you cut off some path, or you burn up some debris, some broken leaves, some dead twigs, etc., and you char a path in the forest so that when there is a fire, either come in this direction or that direction, it will stop by this path, this charred path, burned path. We call it preemptive burning or controlled burning. So what the government now is doing is preemptive burning. But economy is nothing like the forest. Economy, the government control the economy, right? In the forest, for climate, although we have an effect on them, on the climate, but we are not controlling the climate. So we can do some bushfire without preemptive charring or preemptive clearing of the forest paths with not too much moral responsibility. Anyhow, we are saving something, and the path we are burning is something not really so important, right? The animals can run away, birds can fly away, right? The extent of fire is not so big. But what the government now is doing, the extent is quite big, right? Locking up economy, prohibiting people from traveling for over 3 months. Some even say half a year. Some even say 2 years, right? So scary. What the government now is doing is something that is not experienced by human beings before, by we modern human beings before. What the government now is doing, well, if I dare to tell you, is to kill you first, then to save you, then you die from the saving, from the rescue.